Hey, it's Mike from Backyard Boatworks, and as you can see, I have got the seats and the floorboards. I've got them all. They've all been coated with epoxy and sanded, so I'm getting ready to put the first coat of varnish on it. Now, I don't claim to be an expert varnisher by any means, but I've done quite a bit over the years. I'm going to crack open the can of varnish and get going here. Alright, so we've loaded up the brush and we're going to start in a couple inches from the edge and just apply the varnish and unload the brush, and then we pull a little bit back. You don't want to start at the edge because then it'll end up running down over the edge until after you've unloaded the brush. There's basically two strokes or ways of doing this. You're applying the varnish, and then after you apply the varnish, then you want to go over and you want to do kind of a tip, and you just do a really light over the top, which helps break a lot of the air bubbles. And while it's still not heavily loaded up, I'm going to do the edge. Okay, and now while we still got a wet edge, I will get a little bit more varnish and apply it a little heavy. And then we'll tip. When you're tipping, it's just a real light touch. And you want to work relatively fast, but you need to get the thickness consistent. You don't want to have big blobs of varnish everywhere. Okay, and then we'll do our little light tipping over it. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the center part first. I'm going to do all the flat, and then I will come back pretty quickly here before the edges get a chance to dry. Oop, just had a little hair from the brush come out. Let's see if I can get that out to the edge. All right. Alright, let me get the light, just make sure there's no dry spots. That's a little thin there. And this is the first coat, so it's going to get sanded. We're going to probably be putting either probably about 3 coats, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, now let me get the center section. I'm going to unload the brush some because definitely don't want it running. continue on to the rest of these, and we'll see how it goes. Taking a break from doing the varnishing and sanding on the boat, I decided to start working on the mast. Picked up some lumber. It's some clear 1x4 fir. I couldn't find anything longer than 10 feet that didn't have knots in it. This stuff looks really good, but 10 feet was the longest, and I need, I can't remember, it's over, I think it's 12 feet is what I actually need on it. So what I've done is I'm going to have to do a scarf joint, and so I've kind of done a little Rube Goldberg-esque type jig here for doing my scarf joints. And I've done one, it came out pretty good, so let's watch me do the next one here. Okay, so I'm going to do the first scarf joint, and as you can see, I've got it on top of another 10-foot one of the pieces of wood, and I've got some saran wrap over it so it doesn't glue it to that. And then I'm going to coat this with the I'm using the West epoxy. I think it's the 403. It's the one they recommend for laminating. And let's see if I can do this with one hand. Alright, I'm just going to keep layering this up till I get 3 of them done, and then I'll put some weights on it and we'll see what it looks like in the morning. Thank you. I've got everything laminated together. I clamped, there was a couple of it's clamped between all the extra ones on the outside and the inside, so the ones that I'm laminating are the 3 that's in the middle, and I've got a heater on it. So tomorrow morning, hopefully that should be good. We'll take it all apart and see what we got. It's been setting overnight. I had a little heater on it also. So now I'm going to unclamp everything. Let's see what we got. The 3 here in the middle. Now, I had saran wrap around everything. That one looks pretty good. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Alright, I think I'm happy with these. I'll know more when I get the saran wrap unpeeled and a little bit of sanding on it, but I think they're looking okay. Okay, so I've cleaned up all three of the scarf joints, and then I trimmed them off to the length, or close. I think I left myself an extra ½ inch. But I'm real happy with the scarf joints. Let's do this other side. They all look pretty good. They feel really secure. I have brought the mast blanks in to my hallway here, which is the flattest, warmest surface I could find. So I've got them all lined up so that they alternate. There's two on the outside, and then the other one is at the other end. Huh, can't even see it. Oh, there it is. It's barely visible. So I'm using the West system and their 105 resin, and then I will be using their 205 hardener. And this is a really old container of 403 microfibers. I'm going to actually flip this 90 degrees onto its side. Okay, that looks pretty flat and level. So it's been overnight, and the epoxy has set up. So, time to pull the clamps. Taking the clamps off. Okay, so this feels pretty solid. Alright, so I'll need to trim it. I'll have to mark out the pattern for the mast, and then we'll do some trimming on it. But I think before I do that, I'm going to laminate the two blanks for the yard and the boom. So that's probably my next project.